night, I went ahead and gave you guys a little precursor of things to come for the channel and everything and the podcast. So, guys, check it out. 41.1, it's video only. So, go ahead and check the YouTube link that I put on the Facebook pages and the Twitter pages. So, check that out. I had a real itch to do some recording last night, so I did a quick 9-minute segment. Got some cool things to talk about in this episode, and so I figured maybe we might start out with maybe some. We'll save the Aquaman thing for last. Maybe it's behind the curve, but when I went and watched it last night, there was like 8 people in the theater. So, but I don't care. So my son and I watched it. He loved it. So
yeah, I finally took my mom to watch it a few weeks ago. It was great.
Oh my God, what a fantastic movie!
Yeah.
I didn't think Hollywood had it in themselves anymore. But I'll save that till the end. So anyway, real shout outs real quick to some of our podcast friends. We have the Fireside Chat with Ryan McCormick. He's a hilarious guy. He was on episode 40. He's been on some episodes before. Anytime that guy is on, it's fantastic. I always have a really good time. He's just a funny guy, and even when he's not trying to be funny, he's hilarious. So he's got some cool stuff. So definitely check that out. Well, we have the McSauce podcast with Ian, Paul, and Matt. Big supporters of the show. They're a lot of fun. I'm always talking to Paul about He-Man or whatever, messaging, and just like, hey, check this out. Did you see this? I mean, just cool stuff. Great podcast, and they put my movie reviews to shame. It's just fantastic. So, hope this finds you well. Is another great show, and they really enjoy my rotting pumpkin and my pictures of zero candy bars, and they're really funny guys. I really like their style with their podcasts. So definitely check them out because they're real down to earth guys, and it makes me feel human again when I listen to their show. So this sounded kind of weird, but you know what I mean. I get a poker face from Ponch, so that's good enough. And my friend Chadwick Stewart, we're gonna be joining forces on an episode here pretty soon. We just got to get our schedules lined up. He's got the Element of Surprise podcast, because I have my brain fart here. And check him out. He has such an observational style, and the stories he's telling about some of his encounters in public when observing people is really cool. And I listen to his show, and it kind of reminds me like when I was growing up in New York and stuff. It definitely has an East Coast kind of feel to it that I miss these days. There's so many good podcasts out there, and the fact that I'm able to interact with these guys, with their own shows and everything, is just a really, really nice. It's just a great thing. So I appreciate all you guys for reaching out to this podcast and just giving me the time of day. So I don't take it for granted. Once again, Ponch, you and I before the show, we were kind of talking about some of the, like, you got New York Toy Fair. There's all kinds of great reveals coming out. Super 7 has all their stuff. I couldn't believe it. They're actually going to make, at long last, what the fans wanted. They're going to make the He-Man movie versions of 6-inch figures. Both Skeletors. Yeah, they're going to have the black robed Skeletor before he gets the cosmic powers. And then they have the gold armor version. The staffs, the detail is amazing. I mean, they put a wash on those like it looks like real metal. And the detail, I mean, this reminds me why it's better for me to put my resources into Masters instead of like stuff that's off the shelf, because the quality and the detail is that much better. I mean, and it's just I was talking to my wife about that, how it's like, I said, you know what, I'm going to be doing a big eBay sale and everything, putting some more stuff up, clearing things out, because there's so many cool things that are going to be coming in. So that are far better than anything I had in my inventory before, and from my opinion. It's kind of like you have stuff for a while, and then you're like, well, I've had it long enough, and you know, sitting in a storage bin isn't going to help anybody, except for those, it's going to help me get rid of it, is what I'm trying to say. So, I have no problem like selling stuff. I mean, it's a game for me. It's like I'm not as shrewd as a Ferengi, okay, but I kind of cut my teeth on the online video game auction, you know, type setup, and it's amazing how it's translated into real life eBay sales because it's the same mentality. It's like the people that want to buy toys are the same ones that play the video games. It's really, I mean, it's a game. I find it very entertaining and very. I love making deals with people, and um, I've had a few instances where, I had one guy I sold a Millennium Falcon to for a really good price, and because I just want to get rid of it, I didn't need it. I have this big honking thing, the big huge one. You know, I mean, it's the holy grail of Millennium Falcons, and it's like I don't need this smaller one. I got like 15 years ago. I'm like, it's just sitting in a box. And he was like telling me, he's like, oh, this is so great. You sold it to me for such a great price. And um, I can like pass this down to my son. We're really going to enjoy this. And I was like, wow, that makes it worth it. When you get these comments back, they're leaving me feedback like that, And so, it's great. Like I don't go on, you're not going to get rich on eBay. Okay. Not with what I'm selling, just selling some excess toys that I have that someone else would really enjoy. Goes to a good home. That's a great thing. So it's awesome. So at any rate, yeah. So yeah, lots of cool things going on, and with New York Toy Fair, I saw the gold armor Skeletor comes with the cosmic key, and it's even nicer than the one that Mattel put out. And that's the thing with these, is that they're making Mattel look bad. Super 7, the quality that they're putting into these, and it's kind of like it almost seems like egg on Mattel's face, because like Super 7 it's a small company, but they make toys for the fans that fans actually want, and it's like I guess like Mattel had always talked about, when they were doing the Masters Classics line, um, like, well, we've got so much budget for deco. Deco is like the kind of paint jobs and things they do on the toys and everything. Like, for example, they made Blade, from the He-Man movie, and they said each one of these chain links is tooling budget, and they're just going into that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, you see the kind of detail of the things that Super 7's coming out with, and they're a much smaller company, and what they're able to accomplish with, it's just amazing. I mean, it's just, and the cool thing about Super 7, it's not a plug, but I guess it is a plug, because they've always treated me very well. I pay for all my stuff. I don't get donations or review samples or anything like that. I'm a customer.
Maybe you should.
Well, it's not a bad idea, I'm a good looking guy. I should be, hey, I should do some of these, No, no, that's kind of funny. Well, you know what? For crying out loud, I need to make a trip over to New York. We'll go to the freaking, go to New York Comic Con. I'll bring a microphone. I'll be like Bob Barker. We're going to interview some people.
That's right, sir.
What's that?
That's right.
Yeah, I'll even get like the little skinny microphone that looks like there's a cheeseburger on the end of it. At least that's what I was thinking.
Oh, the Bob Barker microphone.
Yeah, like the mid to early to mid '80s microphone. Looked like there's a miniature cheeseburger on a stick.
I always thought of that as like a blow pop with a really long stem. just hoping and waiting that Bob Barker would just bite it off at the end of each episode.
Oh. He's like Augustus Gloop. He just bites the end of the mic. How does it make you feel? Hungry. That was great. But
that's awesome.
They'd be awesome. I should get like a deacon's coat and stuff, and get like the Case in Point logo and put it on there, so I can like officially represent. We'll deck ourselves out in like official garb.
Yeah, man.
In which we have the T-shirts, which are available on tpublic.com. Everybody. So there you go. Yeah. So yeah.
Speaking of Toy Fair, I haven't haven't really checked what they're doing. Well, what's been revealed today, but I saw some pre-show footage yesterday. Well, I don't know if it's footage, but Toy Arc. It's a really good toy
Mhm.
website.
Yeah.
They posted some stuff on Twitter. They showed excuse me, some of the backer card artwork of I don't know if they officially named the line, but it's got like baseball players. It ranges from like baseball players to like well, I think like Ghostbuster characters also. But it's got the back cards look really cool. So I may actually buy some of those. They look kind of nice. But and being a Dragon Ball Z SH figure arts collector,
Oh yeah.
Bandai had their booth set up, and I think Toy Art got like early access to what they had displayed so far. So so that was pretty neat. I mean, it's stuff like as far as the Bandai stuff, I know about most of the Dragon Ball Z stuff that's gonna be released. Either they've previewed, shown previewed shots before, or I read about it. So it's nice to see it like a physical version of the toys and figures that they're gonna be selling this year. So,
Oh heck yeah.
yeah, seems cool. I mean, I wish I can go there. I always want to go to Toy Fair.
I'm wondering, man. I might be. I'm wondering if I could kind of weasel my way into getting some vendor passes for that.
I thought about that. It's like maybe we talk toys enough on this podcast. We might pass off as um what press.
We could probably pull that off.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's worth thinking about, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that and I've seen in years past, people that do attend, they actually have a chance of buying Toy Fair exclusive stuff too. That end up becoming pretty desirable and valuable too. So there's that aspect of it. But heck, I just want to go around and see all the toys, even if stuff I'm not interested in. I just want to see we're gonna be showing and stuff. Um,
mhm.
yeah, and pick the exhibitors' brains, see why they're doing what they're doing. Yeah, just being there. I wouldn't mind just being there, walking around, absorbing everything. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I would say that like the stuff that like the reaction figures that Super Seven's doing are like insanely cool. Like they have Robotech. The thing that really got my eyes popping out of my head were the Rocky Four reaction figures.
I saw
And
those
like the
too. Those are
Apollo
cool.
Creed where he's got like the freaking Uncle Sam hat and like oh, it's great. I got the James Brown song stuck in my head, "Living in America" or whatever it is. You know, ha to ha, like that or whatever. It's so great. New York City.
Dallas, LA, Detroit.
Oh, that's awesome, man! What a great movie. That's so good. Oh man,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
they got a lot of like heavy metal stuff, like which isn't my bag. With some of like some of that stuff is like I'm not into like King Diamond or Misfits or
Oh yeah.
it's I'm more of a virtuoso metal guy, not really much of the black metal. It's not really black metal, but it's like doom metal or whatever you want to call it. I know I'm probably sound like an idiot because I don't know what the proper term for the genre is, but they have like the RoboCop stuff look pretty neat. There's like a ED209.
Oh,
They've got
cool.
they're actually making a reaction figure of that. It's pretty cool.
Oh, I do remember seeing they're doing the Planet of the Apes, and they
Yeah,
have like the single figure card and stuff. But I saw a digital mock-up of I guess a playset, and the box art looks like the old school Kenner Star Wars stuff, which is pretty neat.
yeah,
Really nice.
yeah. I know that's the thing is like even the card art is like enough to make you buy the toy. And like I have some of the I have a few waves of the Masters of the Universe reaction stuff, which is great. And it reminds me of the old puzzles they used to come out with in the 80s with that box art was just incredible. And they've got like Mantenna they're going to come out with. They've got some of like I think it's actually like the Filmation renderings or stylings of Reaction figure, which would be cool. I have all of them except for the first wave, but it looks like they're going to be coming out with like a variant of Hordak and She-Ra, excuse me, and yeah, it's pretty cool. But I pre-ordered a couple different waves. I pre-ordered right now they're on to the 5 3/4 inch scale, which is the vintage scale. They're doing like the gold He-Man, the clear Man-at-Arms, and a few of the other characters, and it's based off a particular episode of the original cartoon, and it's pretty neat to see those. And then they've got, man, I should have actually pulled some of this stuff, but there's another wave where they have they've got another wave of 5 3/4 inch figures, which are based off of the Filmation cartoon, which is pretty great. So, and I thought it was interesting because when they are making like the He-Man and Skeletor figures, like the core figures, they don't make them look like the original toys because they said, well, those have already been made by Mattel, so they needed to change them up a little bit, you know. So, but it's great because like Skeletor's Havoc staff and everything, it's in the paint scheme and the deco of the cartoon, which is great. And so what they tried to do is they tried to take the Filmation cartoon version and put it into the toys that you would have received in the 80s, which I think is a fantastic thing. So, and I did see some, they do some really interesting things like the Halloween candy buckets. And they've got an Optimus Prime and a Megatron, like the 80s cartoon version of those coming out, which is pretty cool. And they've got like Creature of the Black Lagoon. They've got like several different variations of of that different colors, you know, for those. So they like the classic monsters thing is what they like to do, which is pretty neat if you're into like the old like Bela Lugosi era, you know that time frame. So, so there's a lot of cool stuff coming out. I haven't seen some of the other previews yet for New York Toy Fair. I think there was actually an 80s G1 Transformers take on an Ecto-1 from what I saw.
Oh, I think I saw something about that.
My brother sent it to me, and it looked pretty neat.
I think I might have seen that.
What's that?
Sorry, I meant to say, I think I saw something about that on Twitter somewhere.
Yeah.
But I think at the time when I saw it, it was more, I don't know if it'd call it rumor, but it's kind of like, well, this is what could be announced at Toy Fair. I guess like somebody leaked the information, somebody posted it, and I guess they might have confirmed it by now. But
yeah, it was on WikiLeaks. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
He has real trade secrets, you know.
I know a guy.
Yeah, he's got a copy of the U.S. Crop Report and a picture of an Ecto-1, you know.
Yeah, he knows stuff. He's legit.
I need you to meet with a man who goes by the name of Clarence Beeks, you know. He holds up the phone. He's just holding it with his two fingers because he puts it away from his face because it's really nasty. I miss payphones, man. That was great. One of the dumpiest things you'd see in like an inner city shot would be like they'll have a phone booth and then the phone book is ripped off and the wires just hanging down.
Oh, they're gross, man.
They take the phone book. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in Manhattan they finally did away with them a few years ago because they always had the bums hanging around them, and
yeah, right.
Like, they never worked. So
come on, man, this is my shelter. Leave me alone. They just sit in it like this, you know. They're like there's like a gale force wind with like a snow squall coming through. They just huddle inside it or something, you know.
No, that's not snow. That's not a snow mountain. That's just a hobo cover up in his quilt.
Yeah, it reminds me of, like, remember in Living Color they had the guy. Remember was it Damon Wayans? He played the bum on there, and he had that cardboard box. He goes, "Hey, that's my pay-per-view," like that. He put the box in Alien. It had like a little flap that opens up. It was so great.
Wait, was that the one where I'm trying to remember how like he'd see somebody eating a bag of potato chips and he goes, "Hey, how much for that bag?" 25 cents. 25 cents? Oh man, that's a lot of money.
No, that's Chris Rock.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, I get them confused.
Yeah, and that was but there was a lot of comedy like that in the '90s. So there's a lot of that floating around. But like Sinbad was real popular and stuff.
Yeah.
Ta Turtle Man.
I always like watching his stand-ups. Like every
Oh
once in a
yeah.
while, Comedy Central show them. Good stuff.
What, when comics were actually funny? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I always enjoyed him. This is gonna sound weirdly weird, but I always enjoyed seeing him. And every once in a while, they'll have what's his face, Gallagher and Victor
yeah,
Borga.
yeah. He had like the big cape on. He'd sit at the piano, put the seatbelt on. Dong!
Stuff,
He'd do that thing.
stuff
Dong!
is great.
Oh yeah.
He did one stand up. I don't remember which one, or I don't know if it was like a recurring bit, but he did this really cool thing of I guess he was an English lit major or he studied English literature or the English language, but he did he would make sounds to like pronounce like um crap, trying to think of the word. Um, like symbols, like exclamation points, periods, semicolons, stuff like that. He would make like sounds as he's reading it.
Oh,
Like
like
he'd have like
punctuation.
yeah, like yeah, punctuations. He would have a small passage that he'd read from, and he would make sounds for all the punctuations. Pretty funny stuff.
Yeah.
Always like that. Um, but yeah, I haven't. Yeah, maybe sometime this weekend. I will definitely want to see what's going on because apparently Toy Fair um, officially started today and goes on until Tuesday. I always thought it was like a Friday through Sunday thing, but it's like Saturday through
Oh,
Tuesday.
yeah, because I thought it was just a weekend thing. They must have extended it. But
Yeah, I thought so too.
by the way, I would like to tell everybody that I saw an article, and take it with a grain of salt, as always. It is the internet. But there was an article coming out about some former employees of Toys R Us decided to. I think they're executives actually, so they're the high end of things. They want to break off and come out with a new company called. Gosh darn it. I'm trying to announce something here. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, it's TRU Kids is what they were going to call it.
True
So not,
Kids.
yeah, True Kids. So not only do you have the Jeffrey's Toy Box initiative, which was
Terrible.
yeah, it's this cardboard island that they put in Kroger's and some other stores, and I'm like, this is what you guys are doing for the holiday season. But apparently, that was just a way to get a presence, even a weak presence, extremely weak presence. As a customer, let me tell you, extremely weak presence during the 2018 holiday shopping season. So apparently, what they're doing is they're looking at some various business models. So you have two camps right now, which are the remnants of the TRU Corporation that are looking to make a foothold because they still have not filled entirety the gap left in the toy market as a result of Toys R Us going away. So um, it's interesting because you get the WalMarts, the Targets, Amazon, those guys, and Walgreens even doing like exclusives. They still can't fill that gap in the toy market. So I think that's probably a good thing because now it's going to be like, hey, we need to have a store that is totally just toys, and there's been all kinds of different theories about why, it was just a scheme from people or whatever, or whatever. It's like you laid off all these employees and everything, and it's you could go on and on and on. All I can say is what I've been hearing, and it would be nice to see a physical location that is its own standalone operation, and that's what I would hope for.
Right.
Now, I've talked to Jody about this, and he's skeptical, and I don't blame him. I'm skeptically optimistic, I guess is the best way I could say that. So, um, maybe I invented a new term just now. I'm not sure, but
You
uh,
did. You trademark it now. So
trademark.
that's
There we
it.
go. Trademark. Um, but yeah, it's kind of crazy what's going on right now. And
Yeah. What's
plus,
interesting about
Kmart's still
sorry.
around.
Hmm?
Kmart's still around.
Yeah, there's still. I've seen at least one or two here in the Bronx, so
Right, and
they're
they
still
have.
around.
And just as a quick sidebar conversation, I would like to ask you, as a man who lives in the New York City area, generally, you work in that quadrant, if you will. Uh, there is a Kmart that I saw on Dan Bell's YouTube channel. Shout out to Dan Bell and Another Dirty Room. He doesn't know I exist, but I love his channel, and Rick Serra is hilarious. He's awesome. Um, they toured a Kmart that was in the New York City area, and I believe it is actually a sub. It's one of the train stops. It's near one of
Oh,
the. See, you know what I'm talking about.
yeah. I'm not. I don't. I work not too far from there.
It's really neat though. It's all well kept. It's well stocked. It doesn't look like it's ailing at all.
Yeah, yeah. Even well, that one I haven't been to that location in a while, but when you get off the subway, you can actually walk into the store off the train. Um, but
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I haven't been there in a while, but yeah, it's not that's not too far from Madison Square Garden, so they have to have that area keep maintaining a certain type of look and appearance, if you will. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's one not too far from where I live at. It's like a open shopping plaza area, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, it still looks as cruddy as it looked 10 years ago on the
Right.
outside. I'm sure the inside's just the same. But yeah, I've never I mean there's a movie theater in that same shopping plaza area where I go, where I watch my stuff usually as far as like comic movies and stuff. And I always pass by at least the front of the Kmart. And even when all the other stores around the US were closing down, never seen any going out of business type sale like signs or anything on the outside. It just seems like business as usual.
Well,
Like
they're prime.
every other. Hmm?
They're in the prime location. If you
Yeah,
can't
I
survive,
guess.
I mean, with that population base, if you can't survive there, then you got no business being in business. Okay.
Well,
So,
I guess what benefits them is that directly in front of the Kmart, as I guess most Kmart's, there's like a big parking lot, and then a little further from there, within the past 5 years, they built a new indoor mall. So that actually caused a lot of the stores in that area to close down. But I think it benefits Kmart because a lot of the stores in the malls are more, higher end, higher
right.
price point stuff, whereas Kmart, obviously
Discount
is lower
chain.
price. Right. So people that can't afford the higher price points obviously will go to a store that has lower discount stuff. So I guess in that sense, it benefits them. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure it looks like junk in there if I ever go in there. Same musty smell, same.
They all have that smell to them. And it's like that's the only place I can go in town that has my doily. And if I need a doily, I go to this place. It's the only place that has my doily. Anyway, it's yes, that's enough to keep Woolworth open because it's the only place you can get your doily, or Kmart for that matter. It's funny because there's one in Walla Walla, Washington, and okay, roll the laugh track, um, ha ha ha. But it's got fissures in the ground, and they went ahead and they filled it with that floor lacquer, filled in the gap with like heavy floor lacquer, like the clear stuff they put on tiled floors. And it's funny because you go in there, and real quick, because this is not a Kmart episode, okay, or an ailing retail. We should do another one of those later. But go in there, and where they used to have the little Caesars, it's all hollowed out. and they just put T-shirts in there. That's all. It's just more T-shirts. So I mean, it's kind of weird. But you go in there, it's like you're stuck in it's like you're stuck in the real depressing part of the '90s, you know.
Yes,
And
definitely a time capsule.
yeah, it is. And it's like if you want to get a 720 pixel, you know, 25-inch flat screen TV, that's your place. Oh, and by the way, get it on a payment plan. So, you know, just give, and that's part of the problem is that they sell stuff that everybody wanted 10 or 15 years ago. They don't want that stuff now. They don't want a John Wayne DVD compilation set. Okay?
Well, you have to when you get that, you have to accompany it with your cost stereo system. So
Yeah, KOSS, baby. That's right. AIM special.
on
And
your Conway Twitty's greatest hits. Excuse me. Hope you can edit that.
no, it's got to stay, buddy.
Conway Twitty. There you go.
That's what he does after show. Sorry.
Like
Because
keep that
love
in the
you,
bloopers.
it's like this song says, "Loving you's a dirty job." Anyway, we're gonna go. We're gonna have a sequel to the TwittyCon episode of 2016 that we did, or was it 2017? I don't remember, but
Oh man, did you get that Twitter retweet?
I did. Was that a great picture? He's got that smile on his face. He's got the '80s perm, you know.
Oh, he's so dirty.
Oh, it's creepy. It's creepy.
Oh goodness. Yeah, I wanted to mention earlier when we were still talking about the whole Toys R Us closing. I don't remember if I talked about it in another episode or not, but what's interesting about the closing and like how nobody's really filled that gap yet is I wish I could remember where I read about exactly, but what was interesting about Toys R Us is that I mean obviously it sold toys from like the major companies that we all know about. But when
Yeah.
it comes to like smaller companies like NECA or I think right before they closed, they were even selling SH Figure Arts there for a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Yep.
yeah, I read that for smaller toy companies, it was like Toys R Us was kind of their friend because Toys R Us actually set aside shelf space for smaller companies like those to have a retail space, whereas for a while Target, Walmart, all the big box stores, they never gave them any second thought. So like a lot of times some of those companies would use Toys R Us as like a springboard to have a retail presence, and once they felt they had enough market presence or whatever you want to call it, they along with I'm assuming that having a online presence as well, they would sell the stuff there. And because of Toys R Us going out the way they did, they small companies, it became more difficult for them because they no longer have that friendly retail space that they had when Toys R Us was open. So, and I've seen lately, not as much as like Toys R Us would dedicate space, but Target at least they've been having like a tiny section of their shelf space to smaller companies like that. But it's not nowhere close to what Toys R Us had. So I hope a new toy store comes about, so then it'll give those guys another shot having retail space instead of just vying for online space and competing with everybody else along with the big guys too. So and plus, the few times I ever went to Toys R Us anyway, it was nice to see figures and stuff that weren't from like Mattel or Hasbro or those
Absolutely.
guys. So and a lot of times I ended up it. It was kind of like for me an introduction to companies I never would have even heard of if I had never seen them on Toys R Us shelves and stuff. So
Yeah.
be interesting to see what happens in the next few years. And also, remember last year, supposedly the people that own the KB Toys name, they were trying to, you know, come up with their own
I remember
type
that.
machine. And I haven't heard anything from them since. So I wonder if that was just a flash in the pan or not. But
Could be. Yeah, because Jody had reminded me that I forgot all about it, and I saw a picture online of a KB Toys. I think it might have been. I don't know. I don't know if it was a fake internet thing or whatever, but it was like there was a location somewhere. Maybe it was in Minneapolis. They actually opened one store in the whole country. I saw a picture of it online, and it was in like 2017 to try out.
hmm.
And oh boy, and I'm probably talking out of my rear end at this point, but I'll try and find it and put it on one of our social media pages, probably the Twitter page. But yeah, I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh, what is this? So I mean, the problem with KB Toys is that they were owned by Toys R Us after they folded. So Toys R Us had purchased the website, purchased the name. So they can't come out back as KB Toys. There's probably some legal chicanery you'd have to go through to do that. So that'd be a hard sell, But yeah, it's kind of strange. This whole thing is just really weird, you know. But as far as like toys that like you brought up a good point with what you could get at Toys R Us that wasn't Hasbro or Mattel were the like NECA toys.
Yeah.
And I've got that '89 Batman NECA, the big one. I've posted it on before. It's the Michael Keaton Batman, which is just amazing. It's the real REEL real toys. Um, it's like a huge big scale version of that cloth cape, a bunch of different accessories, things of that nature. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I have the Superman too. And I wish they'd do a Mark Pillow Nuclear Man. That'd be great, That'd be so great, Yeah. So.
Yeah. Speaking of, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say this. For some reason, Superman 4 is gaining steam. Have you noticed that? They have the Nuclear Man in the comic books. It like Jeff Johns put it in the comic.
Yeah,
He's
Jeff
going up
Johns. He definitely is a fan of the obscure characters. So
I was ticked though, man, when he's going up against who's that guy? Who's that guy they came up with for Super? They created him for the comic book. It was oh gosh, he's a real nasty looking guy. He looks like roadkill. What?
How long ago was this?
It's recent. I mean, it's within the last when they started a new volume of Superman. Gosh darn it!
Are you thinking of that Rogal Zor character?
Thank you. That's the guy. And Rogol Zor went up against Nuclear Man, and he punched it. He pretty much he goes like that. And when he did that, there was like a nuclear explosion when he crushed Nuclear Man's head. Like did like a thunderclap or whatever. But
that's cool. Yeah, I want to show you this as far as.
I was hoping there would have been more story to him than that, but whatever. So,
yeah, I'm sure you're happy. Just hey, that Nuclear Man. This made my day.
Well, but there's some other things I've seen. Like they just like La La Land Records just re-released the Superman 4 soundtrack, a double that did come out right. You did it, and I did it. So
we're even.
Oh, we're even now, folks.
So
anyway, there's a double disc set that came out, and it's out of print. Because before you could get the music, the soundtrack for that movie in a big anthology set. And I actually purchased it for like $8 off eBay. Like the single CD from that set. Someone was parsing out the different movies, and no one wants Superman 4 because it's not John Williams. It's Alexander Courage, who is by his own right an excellent composer because he did like a bunch of the Star Trek movies, and stuff. So he's great too. But they went ahead and they did a limited 3,000 copy release of that soundtrack, which I love. It's great. and I'm excited to get that. So, but anyway, it seems like there's little things about Superman 4 that are starting to pop up now, and like for some, I don't know what it is. It's almost like the return of the swing movement in the late '90s. You know? That's what it reminds me of. It's like all of a sudden, it's like it's catching on. It's getting traction for some reason. I've always been bashed for liking that movie, but I have my own reasons, But it was like I have like a Nuclear Man T-shirt, which just has a black shirt with a symbol. I mean, folks on the podcast have seen it before. You've seen it before, and it's like the fact that someone's willing to make that shirt is pretty cool. So, but at any rate,
At
I
least
actually
they
I
know.
follow Mark Pillow's Twitter page.
At least
So
they know once they make a Nuclear Man T-shirt, you'll be the first one in line to buy it. Maybe the only one in line to buy it, but at least you'll be there.
I have it. No, it's real. I purchased
Oh
it
yeah.
because Jody actually is like, hey, you might be interested in this. Click. There we go. Done. No hesitation. But
That's funny.
and also talking about things you can't get in stores. You can't get somebody like this in stores.
It's very
So
nice, man.
so
I'll I'll text you my address so you know where to send it to. That's cool. Does
yeah.
that transform or is it
Yeah, it transforms into like the Walter P-38.
That's cool.
It's got like this cannon.
Did
So
they modify the gun so it doesn't look like the actual weapon or
I guess if I had to say anything, it would be it looks well. Yeah, I mean it looks like a cartoonish, not cartoonish. It's not correct. It looks like a toy of the actual gun, if that makes any
okay.
sense. Like, yeah, it's not. It doesn't look ridiculously real, like you
Okay.
like what you're asking. So,
Oh,
but
that's
I
cool.
actually like the platform. So, but like behind me, I've actually got Ratchet, Ironhide, and I've got Quakewave, which is like Soundwave, but it's a Cloud 9 version. And then I've got a Soundwave back there and all the cassettes. There's like 6 different cassettes, and they actually fit inside his chest.
Oh, are those the ones you guys talked about in the last episode?
I think. Well, I didn't have the Soundwave yet.
Okay.
I probably had it on order, so I probably talked about it. But I've got the big Optimus Prime that's in the same scale showing up, so
That's cool. That's
that's on
cool.
order. So I found her. Yeah, I did. I kind of talked about how I found a vendor that's really good that I can trust. So,
That's good.
but yeah, because I've been ordering. I found those and the G1 reissues that I'll be reviewing on the show, which are great because I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but yeah, there's some good stuff in coming up for Transformers fans front.
That's
So
cool.
yeah.
Speaking of stuff that just come out, actually, give me a quick second. I just purchased
No
something this
problem.
week that I think it'd be pretty neat. So yeah, just give me a quick second.
Okay. Yeah, there's definitely some cool stuff coming out, everybody. And it's really cool. Like with that Bumblebee movie, it was fantastic to see the style of the '80s Transformers represented on the big screen. I mean, I got goosebumps. It was fantastic, and it's cool to see. Like, I know people complain saying, "Well, it took you 5 movies to get it right" or whatever, but it's like I'm hoping for a Bumblebee trilogy. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
And
better late than never.
well, but the movie did very well,
That's
so
good.
I mean it's great, you know.
Yeah,
And it's
haven't
set in the
have,
80s. It's set in 1987. I mean, it had the feel of a movie straight out of the '80s cartoon or the comic books that you put on the big screen. They did a fantastic job with it.
that's cool.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about Dragon Ball Z earlier. This came out, and I didn't even know it came out, but Bandai, the company that makes or at least licenses the Dragon Ball name to like figure arts.
Yeah,
Yeah. Or actually, I think Bandai owns the figure arts
they
toy
do.
line.
Oh,
Yeah.
they own it.
Yeah. Either way,
Yeah.
they have several other lines of stuff. So they have this model kit line called Figure Rise,
Right.
where they most of them are like figures of the characters in the show, and once you build them, they like snap tight. No, models where you don't need to use glue to assemble them. But once they're assembled, they're fully posable figures. Um, Detail wise, they're not going to compete with like figure arts, but they're for what they are. They're really really impressive, and they're a lot cheaper. I'd say half the price of like figure arts. But they have a sub line called Figurize Mechanics. I don't know if I can get it in here, but
Oh, cool. That's the original Dragon Ball.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
And
Bulma's
then
motorcycle, and
that's really cool.
trying to get into the camera here. It's got 3 different like vehicle modes.
Mm-hmm.
The character the figure itself is not too articulate. It's only articulate to match um the vehicle transformation. But yeah, I can open it up real quick here.
Yeah, for folks that are going to be just listening to audio, this is
Oh, sorry.
no, it's totally fine. This is kind of like what we do with these now because we do both formats. But yeah, it's great. Ponch is just showing off kind of like the model. He hasn't assembled it yet, but it's got your Wheel of Fortune. But no, Price is Right, I should say. Well, maybe they did it for both anyway. It has that classic plastic back metal rims or spokes for the motorcycle and everything on the plastic.
And here's and it's I mean it's pretty legit stuff. Like here's some of the panels for the bike. I don't know if you can see it on here, but it's got.
Yeah, no, it's coming through pretty good.
So I think this here it's like
So you don't need to paint it or anything; it's already done.
No, it's all the plastic's all colored, but if you want to add detail like what I do with these kits is I use India ink. Hmm?
I think because you're skilled.
Yes, exactly.
You're a kit bash custom guy.
If it warrants it, yeah, I'll do it. But I'm more I enjoy just building them and just knowing that I can reposition them if I want to. But with these kits, they're obviously the like here's some of the Bulma pieces. I think these are the pants, so they're already pre-colored. But if you want to add more definition, say to this pant here, you can paint highlights or shadows or whatever. So and what I do is
Do you tend to put washes on some of your stuff to add more accents to it?
Yeah. I also own some of the Gundam model kits.
Oh yeah.
And I usually the smaller ones, they. I mean, I know some people can go crazy as far as adding like detailing to the smaller figures, the smaller model kits, but I have some bigger ones, and I'll take black India ink, and I'll just kind of do a dry wash over, like, say the panel lines that create like seams and stuff. So I'll dry brush that, and I'll take a damp cloth and wipe it over so that anything inside the crevices stays. So just kind of adds a little more depth to the figure and stuff. So. But yeah, that's gonna be a fun build. So I'm looking forward to building that.
Well, it's kind of crazy too, because like a lot of those, even like the Eaglemoss stuff, like I have that DeLorean I'm building.
Oh, Eaglemoss is great, man. I own some of their Star Trek ships.
Yeah, because they had that subscription for the ships, and which is great because they cover like all the obscure alien ships. Not really obscure, but for deep pulls for Star Trek. Some of the Gaylor class Cardassian stuff and the Ferengi Marauders, Decora Marauder ships and stuff. But that Eaglemoss DeLorean is like so much fun right now. But it's like some guys are even going further and doing further customization to the DeLorean, and I'm sure they're doing it with the ships where they add more detail to the rivets and the plating and the various modules that are on the ship and Um, it's kind of funny because I just got an email from Eaglemoss for uh, they're doing a special thing where you can modify the DeLorean to look like the Back to the Future 3, excuse me, DeLorean, where it has the white wall tires. Remember
That's
when
cool.
remember when they put the white wall tires on there because they found it rotted in the cave, and like Marty needed to get to 1885,
Yeah.
and so they have a version where you can make it look like the Back to the Future 3 retrofitted DeLorean. And it's funny because they put like they'd use 1950s technology to power the flux capacitor, so they put like vacuum tubes on the back where there used to be like Mr. Fusion. So
Pretty neat.
yeah, pretty cool. So I was at a Planet Hollywood in Honolulu on my honeymoon, and you went up the stairs, and I looked up above them, and I saw hanging upside down over our heads was the Back to the Future 3 DeLorean, the one with the rail cars,
Oh,
the
that's
car
cool.
wheels. It was there. Guess
Oh,
what happened to my pictures?
oh no.
Yeah, I had a disposable camera because, mind you, this was 2003. There weren't cell phones, not like where you could take good pictures with at least. Yeah, some white Coke hero at Walmart ruined my overexposed the film. Yeah, all my pictures of the guitars at the rock and roll or excuse me the Hard Rock Cafe that was in Honolulu gone.
oh man.
Everything gone. And
Uh,
all my DeLorean movie prop pictures, the DeLorean, everything gone. You know, and that still really chaps my rear end to this day. So, at any rate, I could see if I can find. I could have swore we had some surviving pictures, but I'll have to see if I can find those. But yeah. Anyway, it went far afield. Like anyway, model kits. There's definitely some cool stuff out there. And you know, the thing with like some of those model kits you're talking about is like they're not going to look like the Figwart stuff because you have to allow for some ball joint movement, things of that nature. It's going to affect the look. You know, it reminds me of like when the Marvel Legends stuff first started coming out when Toy Biz had it, and you'll see like I've got a Captain Britain figure, I've got a Thor. I remember when like Bullseye had come out for the first time, Iceman. They looked very. The ball joints were very pronounced, and some of the slimmer characters looked a little weird, you know. And so, but they got so good over the years. I mean, since then, the technology and manufacturing has become so advanced for the price point. It's just, I mean, stuff that would have cost you $100 for a figure, you can get for $20 in the store now. So, um, yeah, it's pretty neat. So,
that's cool.
what's it? Oh, did you see the new Black Series Hasbro stuff that came out? They
No, not
put
yet.
okay, so they had an IG-88. They had the Bounty Hunters. I saw a Bosk. They're on the your classic you know carded figures
Oh,
as
that's
a
cool.
as opposed to the Black Series ones that just slide out and you can put them back in. Uh, I thought they have a new Black Series Gamorrean Guard right now, which is cool. But I don't want to spend $30 on it.
Now, is this the 3.5 inch ones or the
No, just
five
a
or six
six
inch?
inch,
Oh
6 inch
wow,
scale.
okay.
It's a nice figure, but I have a huge Gamorrean Guard upstairs. That's like that big. It's from the original. It was the looking on my wall here. It's this. It's the Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Hang on a second. Now it's gonna bug me now. The 2000. I think it's 2003 Return of the Jedi. Yeah, and so I've got the Gamorrean Guard from that, and it's got like the real fur and stuff like that. You know.
That's cool.
So I was like, I don't really need that because I got enough Star Wars stuff. It is like I got that freaking Han Solo that's behind me. I mean, man, I've probably got like two walls full of carded Star Wars stuff. You know, so I just want to get them all out of the boxes. And after I moved into my new place, it's like I want to get them all up. I made wallpaper out of them. You know,
That's
so
cool.
but I sold a Darth Revan and got rid of some other. I had like a Joker Squad set that was Entertainment Earth exclusive. I found it at a Hastings that was going out of business. I made some sweet cash on that. It had a
That's
Darth. It had a Darth Malgus. And then it had a whole complement of like stormtroopers where you could remove the helmets and stuff, and it had different like individual. They weren't clone troopers, but they were stormtroopers, and they were a special Joker squad from the comic books, the expanded universe, if you will. So, but a lot of stuff I just don't need. I don't need that much stuff, And lately, what I've been doing is I've been trying to get down to like the core stuff I grew up with, like Transformers and He-Man and wrestling and stuff. That's really my bag, and you know, I'm starting to kind of get back to my roots as a collector. So, but
yeah.
it's
It's well, as a collector, I'm sure everybody knows this who's been collecting stuff. It's kind of goes in waves where you have the general stuff you'll always collect, but then you kind of have things that kind of like ebb and flow. You know, if that I don't even know if I'm making sense. Yeah, you have like stuff you'll always collect. Then you have like the satellite stuff that you might like it, you might not, or you just buy to flip or whatever. But you always have like with us the GI Joe stuff or Star Wars. With you the MOTU classic figures, but then buy stuff here and there, and sometimes just if if you have too much stuff, you just gotta weed it out or
yeah,
get rid of it. Like I oh, shoot, I saw a YouTube video of I don't remember his name. I don't think it was Pixel Dan, somebody else, some prominent toy collector on YouTube, talking about how he treats his collection as like a living, breathing thing, and sometimes
yeah.
he's in the mode where he has to buy everything of a particular line that he likes, and then when he's had his fill of it, he'll maybe get rid of half the line or the whole line, so he buys a new line that he's interested in, or he uses that to fund pieces that he's missing from his existing line. So yeah,
That's a healthy way to collect because two things. Number one, it's got to stop sometime. Okay.
oh yeah.
Number two, if you're not willing to do that, you're a hoarder. Period. If there's no way around it, and you gotta like I buy a lot of things I buy to sell. Because there's a market for it. Why would I not? If I go into a store, I have no connection to a Darth Revan figure. I know I have an eye for this stuff. Why would I not go buy that for $8 and flip it for 120? There's money left on the table. Why would you not do that?
I agree. I agree. Well,
And
that
so,
that's the
what's that?
sorry. Uh, One of the big reasons why I like going to Comic Con is I'll stand in line for exclusives because I don't think it's very rare when I buy an exclusive to keep for myself. I usually buy them to flip later on, and up until 2 or 3 years ago when Reed Exhibitions, I think they're the company that runs New York Comic Con. Before you were able to now, along with ordering your passes online, you're able to buy physical passes at stores in the area, and they did away with that a few years ago with some new, this weird online system. But anyway, I used to like if I missed the online purchase date, I'd buy the physical copies and then go to Comic Con, buy at whatever exclusives, then flip them and make I pay for my pass and whatever other pieces I end up adding to my personal collection, and it's just all exclusive stuff. So yeah, it's like I know some people they'll like actually there's a girl in my job, she she never sells any of her stuff, and it's like, well, you complain about wanting to buy a piece, but then you say you don't want to spend the money to get it, but you have to have stuff you want to at least buy, as a temporary purchase, so you can sit on it for a little bit, even if it's a half a year, let it get, accrue value to it, and then sell that and buy the piece you're missing for your collection. But
Hmm.
yeah, you're right. I think about like we were talking about this earlier before recording. I've been on this video game kick. I mean, I've always been into video games. I think video games is a big part of my you know my childhood growing up, and still
Oh
is now.
yeah.
Um, but it seems like I would say the last few months I've been on this video game kick where I've been buying, like, I bought Kingdom Hearts 3 on launch date 2 weeks ago, and rarely do I buy games on release date. But
Oh
I bought
sure.
that. I've been buying other. There's a company called Limited Run Games where they release physical copies of previously digital only games, and they release them in like a limited print runs and stuff. So I've been getting a few of those, or even buying games I've always wanted when I was younger, but I never could get them. So um,
Right. No.
I
Well, the perks of being an adult, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's great. So, I mean, my video game collection is extremely modest compared to some people.
Right.
Well, there's a YouTube channel called Last Gamer. This guy lives in Australia, and he's got, like, I think, like, the Guinness Book of World Records of, like, the most video games owned by one person. And it's like, what do you intend on doing with all that stuff? Like,
Yeah.
are you gonna open a museum for, preservation's sake, or are you just
Right.
selfishly living out your childhood dreams and only keeping it to your kids and your family and stuff, which is cool and all because you're sharing it with your kids, but like, you've spent so much money, so much time amassing this ridiculously huge collection, for what? At least, like, I think we talked about this a while ago. There's another guy, John Hancock. He's a big
Yeah.
retro
Yeah.
gaming
He's
collector.
actually out of. I think he's down in Oregon somewhere.
Oh, okay. Yes, I know he's somewhere in the close to where you're at, but
Yeah.
he his purpose of collecting what he has is eventually he wants to open a video game collection, or a museum, because he wants to donate all that stuff to the museum he's hoping to open at some point. So he's
Well.
got like an end game, at least,
Right.
but yeah, like you said, there comes a time where you have to weed the stuff, whittle down your collection, or it comes a time where you just have to stop. And yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's
No, I know it makes
just
sense. I mean, the thing is like you need to understand. I think people need to pull themselves back from, especially if you're a heavy collector, pull yourself back and take a bird's eye view of where you're at, and you know, eh, you gotta decide what you want, what you don't want, and if you're having a hard time with that, then you got a problem. And my advice would be, if you're one of those people, sell all of it and quit doing it, because if you don't have the capability within yourself to make choices and be smarter about things, then you probably shouldn't be doing it in the first place. Because the biggest thing is with this is, number one, you gotta like enjoy it. If you're just in it to make money, you're gonna be disappointed. It's like restoring a car. I don't care if it's a '63 Corvette, or if it's a you know a 78 Trans Am or whatever. It's like, it doesn't matter how cool the car is, you're never going to get your money back in totality. And it's, for me, it's, that's why I was kind of saying, like, I like Master of the Universe, because as a kid, that was my thing, and um, it's kind of like, my plan is that I'm going to sell a bunch of this off, and then I'll probably get myself a USS Flag,
nice.
because that's hardcore vintage goodness. Why? You know, at the end of the day, the brass tacks, that's what it is. Why go off and do all this, as you put it, satellite purchases, of just things in stores, when it's like, I got a flag. I don't care if there's like Ryan's Toy Review doing blind bags, or like trinket junk. You know, if you got a USS Flag, then you're in the eighth place, my friend. Okay, that's pimp. You know, and that's what it comes down to. And it's like I really enjoy like the Star Wars Black Series figures, but the neat thing about those is like you put it back in the box and you can like sell them and get rid of them, and they're protected. You have all the pieces and stuff. Obviously, I wouldn't say they're unopened, but you know what I mean. It's like it's Star Wars. It's Star Wars. You know what I mean? It's Star Wars, and you know you just get like you're saying. You got to know what you want out of this, and you know it's like people who like my. I know a lot of people that have comic book collections, and it's like my brother, you know, I'm like fascinated by he's very distinct goals for what he wants to do, and he's a Batman guy, and the thing is he's got a list of specific comics to fill it in, and you know he has a goal. He's not going off in all these different directions. Oh, I want to do this, that, and that, and that. It's like no, because I'm doing this. That's healthy. That's a focus. And when it's done, he's accomplished it and he's good. He's good the way it is, you know. So I mean, for me, it's like you know, with Super Seven and Mattel and all that stuff, it's like I figure Mattel's probably or Super Seven, excuse me, has a license for maybe another couple of years, and then I don't know what their terms were with Mattel, but it's like it's really funny because they're cranking out all this really good product that would have taken Mattel years to do, and for me, it's like, well, yeah, it's spendy, but what else do I do? You know, I don't have a yacht. I don't, you know, I don't have a gambling problem. I don't play the ponies. You know, you know what I mean? And it's like I would never let it get out of hand. You know, because it's like you just got you sell stuff off, you get some stuff you like, you get rid of some other stuff. It's like I got a bunch of vintage Joes, you know, from a good friend of mine, and we traded. I had stuff he wanted. He had stuff I wanted. You know, and it was perfect. There was no money exchange at all. It was great, you know. And so he's a big video game guy. I'm not so much, but I like action figures, especially vintage ones. And I had some really, really expensive video games and strategy guides and things that are hard to get. That it, you know, it was great, you know, and we had the understanding that each of us, the what we're trading is going to a good home to someone who would appreciate it, you know. And the thing is like the kind of stuff that we exchange is like if you try to go and get that through eBay or toy shows, and toy shows are a lot more reasonable than eBay. Let's not make any mistakes here, but uh, it's not going to be like some outrageous price that you're paying for it, you know. And that's how a lot of those guys, like you're talking about, like the video game guys, the collectors and things. It's like they wheel and deal, and they know people that are also into the hobby, and they make some really mutual understanding type deals that both sides are happy with, and that's part of the fun of it. And the fact that he's willing to actually have an end goal, you know, is pretty neat. And it's like Pixel Dan, I saw one of his videos, and I don't know if I want to be. That's kind of a rough patch because his whole basement is full of toys. They're like review samples that all these companies send him, and I'm thinking, when's it gonna stop? You gotta unload some of this stuff. That is not a situation I would want to be in. And it's to me, at least to me, it'd be kind of a rough patch because it's like you keep having all these companies send you things, and then you got this. Well, I got this big pile of things I got to review and things like that. It's like someone like me, I buy my own stuff, but I can control it, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's rough.
I also think about too, like you said with Pixel Dan or like people that are prominent enough where companies send them free review samples of toys and stuff, and makes me wonder like does that sort of desensitize you as a toy collector as far as like enjoying what you have already, or you just see everything as like you know plastic whether it's your own collection or stuff
Yeah.
that companies have sent you, is like, does that take away from people's enjoyment of collecting when you're constantly getting stuff sent to you, whether it's as a sponsor or you're paying for, or for even for free? Like, personally, like, I mean, I probably don't have as much in my collection as maybe you do, but at least I can keep track of what I have, because I figure if I'm constantly getting stuff like that all the time, it would just be too hard to know what I have, and it's like, oh, I forgot I had this. I bought this years ago. It's almost
Yeah.
makes me, it makes me think about stuff like that when it comes to. I mean, it's cool that people have that. I just need to see that, like you're saying, that people have like a set goal. Like, this is why I'm collecting all this stuff, whether it's whatever reason it is. Um, and it's impressive seeing like huge collections and stuff, but that definitely is not me. Like, as much as I would like to dream of having like a gigantic basement just full to the gills with toys. Like, I honestly, I don't think I can do that. It's just too much maintenance, and then you have to worry about logistics of, say, insurance. What if you get something happens to your house or your space where your stuff gets damaged? Then you have to worry about that, and
Well, he did have a
it's,
flood. I remember a few years ago he did, and he's like, "Oh, I
mm,
got everything off the ground about 6 inches." I'm thinking, dude, that's not going to help you. What good is that going to do? And it's like I remember there was a guy from Pop Culture Network. I used to watch that show all the time. I loved their videos and stuff they did. And the one guy, gosh, it's been so long since I watched that stuff. I don't remember the guy's name. He wore a luchador mask. Dirt, isn't he? He went by the name Dirt, and super funny guy. That guy is hilarious. That guy would have me in stitches. And so it was like he had a pipe break or something happened, and he had raw sewage
wow.
over all the stuff. He had to throw it all out. He's like, you can't save that. It has to get thrown out. You can't save that. He had some cool stuff like Voltron and Tron, and he was into a lot of the same stuff I was in. And so like that kind of stuff just that really sucks. And yeah, something like that happens, and it's like the thing is with me is like I can display my stuff. I don't have anything like mass amounts that are just like sitting away somewhere in a warehouse. Because if it got that bad, then there's a problem. And the stuff I've got, I know where everything is. I know what I have. There's none of those like, oh, I forgot I had this. And it's like, no, it's not like that with me. Because like I said, everything I have, it's like I can see it. I got a few things in tubs, but there's not a whole lot. And it's like crappy stuff. I mean, it's like I remember one of my blunders was buying the Star Wars Titanium series, like the
Oh
one,
boy.
and you can't get rid of those things. Those are gonna be those are. I think I might actually give those to maybe donate them like Toys for Tots because they're really cool. But then again, I'm like it's a staction. Like a kid's not gonna want to play with that. And so it's like just yard sale them. And I was like, hey, I have all the bounty hunters. Those like Bosk and there's Boba Fett, and they're really nice painted and stuff. But it's like nobody wants them.
Yeah, I used to have Vader, Boba Fett. Shoot, who else did I have? Might have had the Emperor too at one point. I think Yoda also, but it's like, I don't know. I bought one of them. Maybe I bought all of them to flip, or it's one of those things that, oh, cool, titanium figure is awesome, but then you look at it, you buy it, and then you take it out of the package, and then to me at least, I realize, these don't look as nice close up.
No,
You
there's
have like normal, like the regular plastic figures, really nice detailing and stuff. Because the molds are meant to have, allow toys to have the detail that they have. But these figures, you figure they're metal, they should be able to capture detail nice. But maybe it's just the paint job or something. I don't know, but just maybe because it's metal, it just seemed kind of cold and lifeless. I don't know, but yeah, I didn't like it as much after buying it. So I remember, I don't. however much they cost at initially. I remember selling them for like a fraction of what I paid for them, and it was just so disappointing. Because even like I had the Boba Fett and the Vader and Boba Fett had the patina variations of the normal figures. They probably sold worse than like the normal figures did, and
You'd
like
be
I'm
lucky
not
if you
doing
got
this again.
$10 a piece for them.
If that.
If that. I mean, it's I sometimes I'll check the eBay, so I always check a sell like what it actually sold for, and not this buy it now crap. That's not a price. That is what someone wants for it.
Yeah.
Don't be a moron. Go on there and actually see what it sells for, right?
It's
And if it's sold for bids, then okay. If it's sold or best offer, well, they're not going to tell you what it actually sold for, because that was a confidential deal between the seller and the buyer. So it's not really anyone's business. So, but
it's
yeah,
funny.
I don't know. Some of that stuff you think might be worth something, and it's like, I didn't get them to sell, but again, it's like, I've Star Wars stuff is so watered down at this point. I enjoy it. I think it's great, but I don't know. There's some aspects of it that aren't great, you know. But whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Personally, like I was mentioning before, I do certain situations like Comic Con, for example. I do go out of my way to buy stuff, exclusives with the intent of flipping later on. Um, but personally, I enjoy knowing that hey, some of this stuff could accrue in value, and if not, most of the time I buy stuff because I enjoy it. Whether
Exactly.
like I don't know if I might have mentioned in a previous episode, but I used to own this super expensive Goku exclusive figure for the Figure Arts line, and
Yeah.
I for what I paid for it years ago versus what I sold it for was insane. But I enjoyed the figure. It was actually my very first Figure Arts figure. It was a San Diego Comic Con exclusive, and because it was a repaint of the existing figure, and the repaint matched what he looked like in the manga, I think. And
Right.
it's just a cool looking figure, and it just the whole display of of it being in the box, the window. You just it focus on the figure. Then if you turn the box at an angle, you can see the hands you can swap out, the face pieces you can swap out too. It was just an overall nice presentation, I thought. So I enjoyed it. And then a few years ago, I realized, wow, this is going for this much. Um, I think it's time for me to let it go. And I sold it on eBay, and I had it at a fairly high price, but there was a purpose to it because most people that are selling it, they're selling the figure with a beat up box, or it was just junk. But my box was like in super nice shape, and I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure whoever bought it off of me is what is also a collector who will enjoy that figure. And sure enough, thankfully, the guy that did buy it, he's you know we it was like living a conversation during the purchase, but yeah, he was talking about how he wanted to have a nice display piece to hang up on the wall, like you do with your figures. And the condition that I had mine in, it was exactly what he was looking for. So it was like
Yeah.
win-win for both of us. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it, and when I bought it, I did not think it was going to be worth as much as I sold it for, but it was great that it did. So that's that's kind of the aspect of collecting that I enjoy. But if everything that I have doesn't accrue or it becomes worthless, it would suck. But at least I'm enjoying it. I bought what I like. I don't like the idea of like buying stuff that I don't like, even if it's just for flipping sake. Like I have to have some sort of vested interest, or at least some sort of interest in what I am buying.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and like you're saying, like I guess to me that's because I not only do I collect toys, we talked about this plenty of times. I collect comics, sports cards, video games. You know, so even with all that, like it's good to have a focus that okay, like say for the video games, I've been buying stuff that I've wanted, but my end goal is to rebuy the stuff I had as a kid, in box, so I can have the box as like a nice display piece. And eventually I'll buy the consoles that I bought the games for, so I can play them and just kind of have that connection to when I enjoyed them when I was a kid and stuff. And but other than that, once I get all the games that I had as a kid, I won't buy anything else. I hear about like, with video games or toys, like when you catch the bug, you start buying everything. It's like, not really. I think I'm
No,
past that. I'll
cherry
buy what
pick.
I like. Once I get to that point, I'm done.
Yeah, it's
But
like with Transformers and stuff. It's like you got guys that have rooms full of Transformers, like all eras, and the bug has really bit them. But the thing with me is that, for me, I just want the core season one, maybe the first. I get Ratchet and Ironhide and all the Autobots from like the first two seasons into the Transformers cartoon, obviously, and those are the ones I like. And um, the stuff that was from like 1988 and up, no, it's just not for me. It's
mm,
when the Transformers got real watered down and they tried to hip it up and change it and stuff with the Pretenders, and they changed the logo and everything, and I was like, this has such a late 80s, early 90s kind of cheap uh tortilla chip feel to it. If it makes any sense. These aren't Doritos, but to the store, it's commercialized. Like, for example, would be the New Adventures of He-Man. You couldn't give those figures away, and then all of a sudden there's like this, contingent of people that like that stuff, and it's like, they're just trying to hip it up because of all the other cartoons that are out there, like Cops. Excuse me, like Cops. Remember that show Cops? There is all kind of like that early '90s animation. Cops and Crooks. But yeah, it's like I want my masters to be uh, uh science fiction tinged medieval stuff. That's what I want. I don't want '90s hip it up He-Man, okay? Because it's not gonna work. It didn't work. The toys are junk. The cartoon was lackluster, okay? Period. So that's my thoughts on that. But I want rubber tires, not plastic ones.
Yeah, that does a world of difference. Even
Yeah.
the model kit I was showing off earlier, the tires are rubber. They're not like hard plastic.
Hmm.
So that's a little touches like that I appreciate.
Well, you
Appreciate.
remember when they re-released like Ultra Magnus and Optimus Prime in the late '80s, early '90s, and they had the plastic tires, and like Hasbro really cheaped out. I was like such a letdown, and I'm like, why did you do this? You just ruined the toy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the cab wasn't even die-cast metal; it was plastic.
Incredible. I think going back to what you're talking about with Super Seven, and they're doing things in the short span that they have that it would have taken Mattel years to do. Um, I, when it comes to something like done right, like what Super Seven is doing, you have a fan base there that are willing to pay for it, and I think that's something Mattel, maybe they knew it when initially when they first started the whole Meta Collector thing and just kind of lost sight of it, but I don't know if it's because of big corporation trying
It
to,
is. It
cheapen output so they can get more back in return. But Super Center realized, yeah, even though this will be a pricey product, we're giving the best that we can to the fans who are paying for this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why they're having the successes so far with the line, and they're able to branch out and do other stuff that they've been doing too. So it's good for them, and it should be a model for other toy companies of how to create stuff. Oh, speaking of, did you hear? I don't know if this is in your realm of like collecting, but Diamond Distributors bought out Gentle Giant or acquired
Really?
Gentle Giant. Yeah. Well, not the entire company, but I think more of the collecting aspect of it, like the.
Oh, wait. So, in other words, they acquire all of the Star Wars, giant-sized classic figures, that branch where they put them in the clamshell, the
I
resealed
believe so.
clamshell. Because what stands out in my mind is the Chewbacca,
Mm.
and you know, it's like the classic, what, like 1977 ish Chewbacca. It's kind of smooth. Looks like he shampooed his fur with VO5. A nice, you
Hot
know.
oil.
Let your soul glow. Keep your hands so smooth.
Oh, speaking of that, what do you
So,
think? I tweet. Well, actually, before I go on a side tangent, I have one of the few Gentle Giant figures. Actually, it's Sideshow. Never mind. I always get them mixed up. But I have this really cool Princess Leia figure in the Bosch suit. I always get the name messed up. Boosh
the,
Bosch.
was it the bounty hunter?
Yes.
The effects of the carbonite,
Yes.
they will
Yes.
pass in time. Yes.
Yeah, it's like you're saying. It's like I think it's like a 12-inch figure, cloth outfit, but it's so nice, man.
Oh
But yeah,
yeah.
I think I mean I can. Well, I'd have to dig it out, but I can show it off at some point. But really nice figure. But I was gonna tell you before. What do you think of the tweet I posted recently about Coming to America sequel? Did you hear about that?
I heard about it. Yes.
What do you think about that?
Oh boy. Yeah.
It
Not
apparently
sure
has
if
a.
it's. I don't know. I think in the current climate that it's being produced in, I don't know if you could get away with some of this stuff without people complaining about it. I'm not sure. Um, Not that it makes any difference to me. I'm like, I'm stuck in the '90s and the '80s. I don't care, But I think they should just leave it alone. I mean, but I will tell you. Did you see the trailer for the new Ghostbusters?
Oh, the teaser trailer, or is it a full trailer now?
It's the teaser where it's in the Ecto 1 is in that barn. It's in the thunderstorm. Ivan Reitman's son is going to be directing, which is great.
Really?
Yeah. So you won't have to
That's
deal with the male secretary business and the alternate universe Ghostbusters. Which I thought the movie was kind of funny, but don't call it Ghostbusters. Call it. Well, I won't say. Never. I'll just shut up.
You
I don't
have
want to.
nothing nice to say.
Yeah, I don't say anything at all. But
Oh, are you aware this week or this coming week, Dream Theater's new album is gonna be releasing?
I was yeah, because I remember they released that single here a couple of months ago, and it blew me away how good it was. So that'll be awesome. And
Well, they've released either one or two more songs after that. So I think as of right now, they've released three singles,
yeah,
which
I
is
don't I
weird
don't I
because
don't want to spoil it for myself. I'm just gonna buy it when it comes out, and I buy physical copies. So I don't do digital. I can make my own digital stuff. I don't need someone to do it for me. So I'm like Eddie Trunk. I want the physical copy in my hand. So
I agree. Oh, and yesterday, I just almost forgot. Yesterday night, actually, Dream Theater tweeted they're doing this. This is the second location that I'm aware of that they're doing this so far. They're doing a live listening and viewing party before the album comes out this week, and you had to purchase a limited edition LP set of the album, and that allowed you to get a wristband to attend one of these events. And um, Mayum, Petrucci, and Mangini are going to be in attendance as you're listening to the new album with them, and they're
oh, cool.
accompanying it. They're accompanying it with like visual stuffs, like animations, whatever, as the songs are playing. And I think afterwards there's gonna be like a Q&A where, you ask whatever you want. Then after that they'll sign stuff. So um, I was fortunate enough to snag one of those, so I'll be able to listen to the album with the band like before release day. And of course, I'm going to be buying the album release day as well because it's my favorite band. Why shouldn't I? So
Right.
it's gonna be a lot of fun. But
And it's all
yeah,
thanks to me. Just kidding.
shut up, man. But
I let you borrow Change of Seasons, and it was all over. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. But actually, no. If you do want to take credit, I think it was all the times I used to come over to stay the night, and
Yeah,
you always have music playing at night, like always,
absolutely.
and it was always like, well, there are a few instances where you played like random stuff that I don't even remember, but I do remember it was usually Ben Halen, Malmsteen, Satriani, or Dream Theater,
Yep.
and it was always that. So I think I remember hearing like scenes from memory, or at least some of the songs from that,
Yeah,
and then yeah. So I think you might have planted the seeds. It's like, yeah,
I think so.
here you go.
But I will say, they're such a great band that I mean, you would have discovered them anyway because they're so awesome. So, and they're a New York-based band, so you would have. I mean, they're a big deal there. That's their stomping ground, so you would have discovered them anyway. So,
Yeah.
they're just
So,
that good.
but yeah, based on the based on a part of me wishes I didn't listen to any of the singles that they released so far, but a part of me is glad that I heard listened to them because based on the three singles so far, this is gonna be a fantastic album, man. I can't
Yeah.
wait. And what I find very interesting too, I don't know if you've read about this or not, but when they were recording this album, the band members secluded themselves to like some remote location. I don't think they've even revealed where it's at,
Bear
but
Track Studios.
no, not Bear Tracks, a different place. It was always Bear Tracks.
I just wanted to say that because it's obscure to only Dream Theater fans.
But apparently it was like this converted barn where I guess a movie composer used to record his stuff, and I guess he sold it to somebody else, and then they converted to a recording studio. So they just locked themselves together for a certain amount of time. And they just basically recorded whatever they jammed and made the album. But I watched a YouTube clip of Petrucci talking about how it to them it felt like it harkened back to like the earlier days where when Dream Theater
Yeah.
first started, and a lot of the a
Want
lot
to
of
know
the
why?
concepts.
Because Rush and Pink Floyd, who they're both in, that's how they would record their stuff. They do the same thing. So it's kind
Mhm.
of that vibe, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah. And he was describing how like concepts and ideas were they were just bouncing off of each other,
Yeah.
because they have such a rapport with playing, from playing from each other for so long. And yeah, and he's talking about a lot of the more, excuse me, technical production aspects of, like the space created like great acoustics when it came to recording and editing and stuff. So yeah, it sounds like they had a lot of fun recording this, and I have a strong feeling that it's gonna be reflected in the album. So I think it's gonna be one of the better albums.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Certainly sounds that way. So, uh, well, I was gonna say before we get going here, I want to just did you watch Aquaman yet? Switching
Yeah,
gears.
man.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna just forewarn people that I'm just going to do a somewhat spoiler alert here. I just want to point out the things I liked about the film and to say that my opinion of the film is that um, it's the first movie I've seen in a long time where I didn't have anything I disliked, and that's a big thing for me to say that. And the other thing is I was glad that the movie had a happy ending to it. I was always waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it's because of what like Star Trek or Star Wars has done to us, uh, and that kind of thing. And it's just you know when he got that trident, it just like was the sheer power that guy had from getting that trident was just amazing, and it was great with the way the film just built up to that whole event, but not in a really like predictable way necessarily, because it's showing him his ability to communicate with the sea life at the young age. It's just this innate ability that he had. Man, when he got that trident, it was like it didn't hit you until he was actually in that huge battle to show you how. And when that armor got put on him, it was just like, oh my gosh, it just fantastic. And the casting they did was amazing. And I mean, it's just it kind of reminded me like a lot of the way, like if you watch like Ant-Man and Wasp, how um you know Henry Pym gets reunited with his wife, who he thought was gone because she was in the microverse or whatever it was they call it, the quantum whatever it
Yeah,
was.
quantum realm. Yeah, quantum realm.
And so, which is the microverse essentially, because that's like the Micronauts, which is a feed in the Micronauts. But anyway, that movie was just fantastic, and I got to tell you, I love Bumblebee, but this Aquaman movie was probably my top film of the year, and it just I liked it even better than Wonder Woman. I just felt that
Oh
this movie
wow.
was more solid than that, and I know a lot of people love Wonder Woman, and I enjoyed it, but it didn't really it didn't totally hit home with me the way this did. There's some just the way the story rolled out and everything was just perfect the way they executed it, and the visualizations, and to have William Dafoe in there was hilarious.
Yeah, and that's
Oh,
a good
he
guy
did a
to
great
boot too.
job. He did a great job. He did a great character in that movie.
Yeah, and
And
he wasn't a creepy character
no,
or a villain too. So
exactly. You're like, okay, is this guy going to turn heel and
yeah.
like hurt me? And it's like, no, the man bun kept him in check. It
Oh
just
yeah.
he did a great job.
Yeah, I remember when the full trailer was released, whenever it was, when they finally showed Aquaman in his like his full
Oh
attire. Like I remember the
yeah,
goosebumps I got when I saw that,
I
because like
know.
they finally got it right, finally. And thankfully, when that scene, you know, ran its course in the movie, I had the same chills I experienced when the
Yeah,
trailer came out. So yeah, visually, such a unique movie. I really liked how, like with Marvel movies, you kind of have like similar stuff that kind of connects all the movies, but at the same time, each movie has its own distinct flair. Whether it's visually or tone or storyline, whatever it is, like a lot of those movies can feel like they're their own thing. So with Aquaman, they definitely had that, at least visually. Um, I liked the one thing I noticed while watching, like even before the movie finished, was how they played off on like the relationships. We had like,
yes,
like the Aquaman's relationship with his father and even with his mom, and then like Aquaman's brother, his relationship with his father,
yeah, with
led
Orm.
him to be, yeah. So and then even Black Manta, his relationship with his father, just a lot of,
Yeah, that's a good point.
it was really
Well,
really
and
well done.
don't forget Dolph Lundgren and his relationship with his daughter.
Ah yeah, that
You
was
know,
good too.
and it was
Yeah.
kind of well. I don't know. I would say that maybe Aquaman in some ways is like the Thor of the DC world, where people that you don't know a whole lot of people that actually read the comics, but there is a rich backstory there, like with the different kings and the different realms, which I thought was cool. I didn't know a lot about Aquaman. I'll be honest with you. I my knowledge of Aquaman is very, very minimal. And I knew about Black Manta. I knew about um, that he, you know, good thing there's no Aqualad in this movie. You know, and I knew, but the thing that I thought was interesting was that, like, now my understanding of Aquaman is he couldn't stay out of water for too long, or his powers had started to diminish.
Mm.
But that's the '80s Aquaman, right?
To be honest, I'm not that well versed in Aquaman. Also, I mean, I know the basic stuff, like mostly everybody does. But yeah, as far as like nuances like that, I'm not really familiar in this, so I can't really
But
say
that's the
it.
thing, though. It's like even with the Thor movie, it was like they transformed Thor into like one of the premier characters of the Avengers films, and like there's that rich backstory that I didn't even, I mean, Yeah, I mean, it's just I think that it's just I was pleasantly surprised how well this movie turned out, and they have like Dolph Lundgren and stuff in there, and you had like the guy who played Django Fett on the prequel films, and as his and that it and to have Nicole Kidman on there. I mean, it was like she still looks great, and it was just like, wow. I mean, it's just a really cool movie. It was so well done, and you took a character that a lot of people, I mean, pardon the comment, but a lot of people laughed at, you know. And they had that failed Aquaman TV show they tried to do, and it looked bad. It looked terrible. I would say it's on par with that failed Fantastic Four thing they tried to do.
Goodness.
And unfortunately, what you do is you CWIze a lot of these characters, and you really nerf these guys, and you try to make it too Teen Bopperish. The exception would be Arrow. He's still tough. I mean, that show had a hard edge to it, despite being on the CW. And yeah, just a great film, and everything, fight scenes in Italy and Sicily to like where like Black Manta's like shooting up in the air and his rockets are failing and stuff. It had a very Boba Fett, Jango Fett feel to it, and it's just the hand to hand combat was awesome, and the I just liked it, Aquaman's personality, Arthur's personality. It's kind of reminds me of how like I used to be when I was younger, where it was like screw you, and just oh, I don't care if you like it or not. And I relate to that kind of personality to a degree, and I'm a lot nicer these days.
Sure about that?
Maybe. I'm a teddy bear these days, but it was a great film, and I thought that the scene with like the giant, like the crab people and stuff.
That was cool.
It's just like maybe it's too penguinish, but um, it's just really cool, and to see him, he got that staff, and he's like, yeah, and you saw like the power shoot out of this guy ripples through the water and stuff. It was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, that's on par when like Thor got Stormbringer.
Oh man, that scene still gives me chills whenever I see it, man. It's freaking great.
They should have played Deep Purple Stormbringer when he got that. That would have been perfect for that film. Have like freaking Glenn Hughes on vocals there. You know, go to the pony, Stormbringer coming. You know, time to die. It would have been so good. Oh man, I'm a big Glenn Hughes fan. He's great. I wish I could sing that high, but my voice is too deep. But it was like, I just think it's funny when he did this sidebar real quick. He did this thing with this South American band called Rata Blanca, and they like a lot of Deep Purple stuff, and they did a cover of Stormbringer with Glenn Hughes on vocals, and
that's cool.
And he goes, Buenos Aires, la, like that. And it was great. He's singing and playing bass and stuff. Man, that guy's got some pipes on him even now. And in fact, they had Glenn Hughes on an episode of Chris Jericho's podcast, and it was so
cool.
Such a down to earth guy. Glenn Hughes is such a down to earth guy, and I follow his Twitter page and stuff. Just seems like a really nice dude, and it just his vocals are so great, though. He's like, it'll make you bleed. Like
oh, so great!
It's awesome.
Yeah, man. But
I would have laughed so much. It would have added so much more oomph to that scene.
I don't. See, I think if they did play that song, I think I would have been laughing. I would have been laughing the entire time.
Why not? Mix comedy with action. It's the best combo, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy with the way it is as is.
I
Just
know, but
leave
if
it,
just in
leave it
case
alone.
funny things,
Yeah, of course.
then it's me. But I will say now, and along the lines of music, I will tell you that the movie score for Aquaman blew me away.
Mm,
It was fantastic. They would have hard rock themes, very subtle hard rock themes to some of the like in the beginning of the movie where they were like Aquaman was beating the crap out of somebody. They have like that heavy distorted bass guitar, and it had a real feel of like early of like the A-Team TV series when they would do like those really heavy distorted guitar lines, when they're doing like street fights and stuff.
yeah.
And it reminds me of Mike Post because Mike Post did all those really cool '80s action TV show themes, and it had that feel to it. And then they would go and like when he's underwater, and they were showing like the underwater realms and things. The music would turn into like this '80s or turn into like this retro new wave kind of electronic feel,
Mm,
and it was just like during like the big battle scenes, you'd hear like the distorted guitar in the background. And it was just enough to where you knew it was there, but it enhanced the overall scenes of the movie. It was just so cool, man. I just I wish my schedule would have permitted me to see it earlier because I would have seen it probably two more times.
mm.
You know?
Well,
And
we're not too far from it being released on Blu-ray, so you can
I'm
watch
getting
it whenever you want.
the full tilt, baby. You know,
Oh yeah. So yeah,
watch it.
I really like the kind of like the world building that they alluded to with all the seven shoot, what they call this, the seven empires, is that what they call there, or the seven
Kingdoms or
tribes?
whatever.
Yeah, seven kingdoms, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got a glimpse of some of them, like I don't know if I don't know if I want to see a whole movie of the Horde, which I guess they announced that they're doing, or the whole the
In the
creatures that
Trench
you.
Kingdom, the trench
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
freaky, wasn't it? That was like reminded me of the Marineris Trench, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
It's funny because I was watching a movie and they were talking about, like, he has to go to this place to get the trident. It's like a dangerous spot. I was really hoping that would have been the Mariana Trench, because it
Yeah,
would have been so fitting. Like, nobody knows about that area, so what better to have dangerous creatures than in the Mariana Trench? But it was off of friggin' Italy, so.
right, right.
But still, yeah, yeah, I like that, and also how they handled his power set. Well, not his power set, but his ability to communicate with the sea creatures.
Yeah,
I thought that was great. I'm
excellent.
interested in seeing how they'll expand that in future stuff. And another thing I'll say too, like, I mean, it's fairly obvious, but even from like the promotional stuff leading to the movie, like, you can tell Jason Momoa is just so into the character. I
Right,
mean, he lived, well, Hawaii, wherever it was, where he was
right.
surrounded by sea-based, living. So he had that familiarity, and you can tell he was really invested, and his performance reflected that. And, like, well, again, it's obvious. Like, if the lead actor is not into the role, the movie's gonna suffer. But you can tell he was having fun with it. Even like some lines kind of felt kind of corny and cheesy, but still, it was kind of like, I'll let it slide. It's no big deal. Yeah, you can tell he enjoyed that. Playing Aquaman is, and there was like a certain level of respect too when he was playing it. At least I felt. Um, yeah, I like that movie a whole lot more than I did. And I think also, I usually, I took my mom to watch it, so a lot of times I'll take her to watch comic movies. Like, what movie were they? I don't remember what trailer they showed, but usually it's like, oh, Captain Marvel's coming out. You can take me and watch that, right? So I think her energy influenced my
Yeah,
my thoughts on the movie, and if she likes it, then I know I'm gonna like it even more, or at least as much. But yeah, I'm happy that I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, and I'm hoping that Shazam will just continue that that trend. Hopefully, they'll finally allow us to have good DC movies for once. Because as much as I love the Marvel movies, what they've done so far, gotta have that competition to make
You do.
each other even better than what they were before.
It's
So
like having the wrestling territories versus WWE, right?
right,
In
yeah.
a way. It's
So
like,
that make Kevin Feige the Vince McMahon of comic
yeah,
movies.
nice. Yeah, yeah. We need to have our Memphis wrestling version. No, just kidding.
So
Um,
so who would be the Jerry the King Lawler of the comic movies?
that's a good question. No, do you mean Jerry the King Lawler Memphis side or WWE commentator side?
Ooh, now that's a good question too. Um,
Do you want Andy Kaufman, Jerry the King tough? Okay.
no, that
That
was
was a
weak.
real slap. You wanted him to hit him.
Oh no, I agree, but it was all for the final product. So,
Well, that's a hard sell. I don't know who that would be.
hmm.
I'm usually pretty witty with this stuff. I can rip it off, but
Okay, how about if you want to focus, how about commentator Jerry Lawler?
well, that means funnier Jerry Lawler, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess Spider Man then, right?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Well, I mean, hey, if Shazam does well, it could be Shazam, right? He's a funny guy. He seems like
Hmm,
that'd be more of a lighthearted, funnier movie.
that could be true. That could be true.
That's what comes to mind. What I'm thinking. But
Hmm.
real quick, so I think that was my kind of like my appraisal of the Aquaman movie, and I thought it was great, and they knocked it out of the park, and everything was perfect about it. Thank you.
I think we should have a segment where we review comic movies a few months after they're initially released.
Let it sink in a little bit.
Yeah, it's like
I
a
on record. Now, this is a big deal, and tell you that I will not have an issue with Aquaman 3 months from now. I won't. I won't. And I don't normally say stuff like that. I just had the right combination of cast, sound, movie score, uh, story, visualization. It's all there. It's a total package. And Jason Momoa is like a pretty funny dude. He's like sneaking up on people, acting all funny at the like red carpet events, and all these other stiffs are out there. Oh, I'm a big movie star. So he's like sneaking up on people. I think that's great. He's having fun with this celebrity sense. That's what I'd be doing. You know, life's too
Yeah,
short, man. Have fun with yourself. It's go out there and be goofy.
yeah. Imagine him being a pretty cool person to hang out with in real life.
Well, you see the size of the guy, you have no choice but to hang out with him. That guy, I don't think so. You know, so
No, I'm sure he's yeah.
I'm just being a smart aleck. But yeah.
But
So yeah,
yeah,
I'm getting
man.
I'm getting yeah, I think I'm getting pretty excited about but for some reason I think like this Captain or this Captain Marvel movie would be pretty good, the new one that's coming up. I would like to see some obscure cosmic characters show an appearance. I'm surprised we have not seen a Nova appearance yet. Um,
Maybe.
Hence the whole Nova Corps thing. But we'll see what happens. And the last note I'm going to say is that I don't know why people got all bent out of shape about like the Thanos snap. Like, oh, all these people are gone. It's like, listen, they have the Reality Stone. They have all these different stones. Someone will get the gauntlet from him. Someone will just reverse everything because some of the people that are gone, they're going to do movies with. So, what do you think's going to happen? It's predictable. Okay.
Well, especially with the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer coming out before the Avengers teaser trailers that they released.
Yes.
Like, come on.
Exactly.
I mean, I I mean, a part of me wishes that they didn't do stuff like that, or like I would just go in blind, or even naive, so I can just experience it,
Yeah,
without any knowledge. But I don't
that's
know.
why I begrudgingly watch trailers. People, have you seen it? It's like I'm not that hooked on these movies where I need to be at the edge of my seat, 24/7. That's how I used to be about Van Halen. And what did it buy me? Nothing.
Yeah. When it comes to the Avengers Endgame, I mean, I'm pretty sure people throw out well, everybody comes back to life in the Infinity Gauntlet comic. Yeah, that is true. Blah blah blah. Whatever. I'm just, what? I just want to enjoy the ride. I want to see, even if they do completely ape the comic, let's see how they interpret it. Let's see how they handle it. I just want to enjoy the ride because I enjoyed Infinity War like crazy. So there you go,
This
man.
See, this is my pride and joy right now. I love this thing. I can't wear an Infinity Gauntlet around all day, but I can wear an Infinity Ring.
Wait, says who?
Well, I do have to type for a living.
Oh, you could always train yourself to do it with one hand.
Yeah. Yeah, those ladies with those sleep press-on nails clickety clacking all over the keyboard, for crying out loud. I'm going to use the Infinity Gauntlet.
Exactly. Or just get a super huge keyboard.
A jitterbug keyboard. Hey, put your glasses on the bridge of your nose.
while
Where's
you're taking
oh
your daily dose of Centrum Silver.
yeah. It's like, you know what? Don't buy the readers. Go get some real glasses. You don't have to do that. It's like, I got these at the Rite Aid and a spinner rack.
They don't work at all, man. They're complete garbage.
You should have just got the ones with the pink frames. They're a little stronger. Okay. Anyway, all right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this round. And I think we had a good session here, Ponch. And I appreciate you showing up.
Yeah, no problem. Maybe next time Jody will be hanging out with us too.
Perhaps. It's hard to get our schedules to line up. So
Well, when it does happen, it'll be fun.
oh yeah. Yeah, it's gonna yeah, anyway. Never mind.
Before we go, this was something I wanted to show earlier, but didn't get a chance to. When we're still talking about Toys R Us and Toy Fair, this was tweeted about 12 or 13 hours ago. Hopefully, it'll show up on the camera. But this was at Toy Fair.
Oh, nice, Jeffrey, huh? Is that Peppa Pig?
I believe so.
It's Peppa Pig. Don't ask me how I know about that, but I will note that the pig's butt cheeks are hanging out from under that arm. I'll never see Peppa Pig the same way again. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
No,
why
that's
you
great.
have me on the show.
That's awesome. What a great tease. And I'm not talking about the pig. I'm talking about Jeffrey.
Uh, so you never know. Maybe some new announcements came out while this episode is being recorded. That'd be cool.
As we live and breathe right now, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So
10:28 10:23 Eastern Standard Time. Yes.
You're good with your mathematics.
Well, thanks to I've got my flashcards, my number line,
Yeah, man. So, yeah, it was fun today. Yeah, like I said, hopefully next time it'll be the three of us.
It'd be like Hollywood Squares.
I was
just
never
have
good at that game.
well the TV show Shadow Stevens was like the celebrity that was always there. Shadow Stevens. Yeah. Oh, and Whoopi Goldberg. Those are the two that were always there. So.
Yeah. Didn't they try to revamp that show or restart that show, reboot it, or whatever?
Yeah, I think that they tried to retap that vein, but it was clogged, so they kind of just left that off. You know, they always try to they always try to redo everything, man. That's just the way it is. You know, so they tried to redo Press Your Luck and you know Press Your Luck 2000. It's like nobody gives a crap.
What was that?
After Michael
20.
Larson cracked the code, that was it. Like
What was that show? The $20,000 Pyramid? Is that what it was called?
$10,000
Oh,
pyramid.
10,000. Okay. Yeah, I was overselling it, but I remember enjoying that show. I hope they don't bring that back because
That show had cool furniture. But what we're gonna do is
yes.
we're gonna table that. We should do a game show episode, and I know that Mr. Jody Earden would love to be on that one. So
Hint,
anyway,
hint.
yeah, just throwing those breadcrumbs out there, Jody. Anyway, all right, folks, that's gonna do it. And this was a lot of fun. And you guys stay safe out there. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next time.